Hey guys, it's Britt. Tonight I'm here to talk to you about some YouTubers who have taken the second PPP loan. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so there have been some more influencers and YouTubers taking the second round of PPP loans for themselves. And I want to share this with you guys, a couple of the channels that have decided to take more money for free from the government. And as a reminder, the PPP program was rolled out in order to protect small businesses and hopefully save some of them from having to close their doors and get rid of all of their employees or get rid of all of their employees. And this was not put into place for wealthy YouTubers to take free money from the government. It was not rolled out to help very wealthy individuals get richer and, get some additional money to line their pockets. I believe that there are certain situations where taking a PPP loan can make sense. I know that I mentioned like Rachel Hollis took one out. I don't necessarily completely agree with that, but at least she has a number of, people that she employs. These YouTubers, it's usually just 2 employees, the 2 spouses, and they are taking the money because it's there. It's not because they need it. It's not because their business or day-to-day operations have been affected. They are taking it because they are greedy, slimy, and self-centered, in my personal opinion. Just because you have an LLC or a business does not mean that you should be the ones at the front of the line to take money from the government because it's being offered. That money will eventually run out, and therefore, due to your greediness, it will trickle down to the person that owns a small business in their hometown, and they have to close their doors because they were not quick enough like the wealthy YouTuber was. And I realize fully how things work behind the scenes. Most of these YouTubers have people that they employ to help them with their finances. They will sometimes have a little bit of a head start, whereas Susie Lou, who owns a small shoe store, might not have that person to help her get a head start in order to get the money before it runs out. The first influencer that took a second round is my least favorite family channel of all time. Nobody will ever beat them. I don't care. Unless someone comes around and does the same thing, nobody will beat Myka and James Stauffer. So for anyone that doesn't know, Myka and James adopted a little boy from China. They monetized his entire adoption process. They crowdfunded for some of the fees. They explained his entire life, and then they decided that he was too much a handful and rehomed him, went on a vacation to Bali, and Myka has been in hiding since then from the internet. Her husband James has a very successful car detailing channel. In my personal opinion, and from things that I've heard and gathered, the dirty cars that he shows on his channel are in fact not in the condition that he shows. And he basically allegedly dirties them up in order to get crazy thumbnails and insane before and afters. Therefore, it generates more revenue, more views, more attention, more subscribers. The second loan that Myka and James, the first loan, in case you guys don't know, they took in May 2020, which was also the same month that they came to their platform and told everybody that they rehomed their sweet son. And I'm not going to use his name because I don't use his name on my channel, but oddly enough, that was the same month they did that. Same month they decided to go to Bali. They had taken out $45,620. Now, in March of 2021, they decided to take another $41,772. There are so many problems with this. I did a video a couple weeks ago sharing my thoughts on, will Myka come back to YouTube. As far as taking the second loan, I believe that, you know, because Myka's not making content and they are solely focused on what James is bringing in under his channel, they are most likely hurting. They have a very large house in Ohio. It most likely has a very hefty mortgage attached to it, and Myka's not bringing in any money. No companies want to work with her. She's disappeared from the internet, and she doesn't have a full-time job. I said in that other video, even if, let's just play pretend and say that Myka wanted to go to a company and try to work, as soon as you Google Myka Stauffer, if the person interviewing her doesn't already know, or if the HR department doesn't already know about her, as soon as you Google her, you see exactly what she did. So I don't really know of a lot of companies that would want to say Myka Stauffer works for us. You know what I mean? So most likely, in my opinion, this second loan was to help fill and bridge the gap between them only relying off of James's channel income, Myka not working. They still have multiple children in the home. So this was probably desperately needed. I can only imagine what it would be like to go from making all of that money down to making a fraction of it, because even though James's channel does well, it doesn't, let me check Social Blade. It's definitely not going to float, you know, a husband, a wife, a house full of bills, and children. That's just not the way that it works. So let's check in on his Social Blade. So Social Blade, in my opinion, is usually on the lower end as far as income goes. They are estimating his revenue to be in between $15,000 and $244,000. That's a huge, obvious, you know, range to throw out there based on, you know, what I know firsthand and what I've seen with other creators. Social Blade is usually on the lower end as far as what they're saying you're going to make in a year. You know, same thing with monthly revenue. But I think the thing that bothers me too about Myka and James is that they do this, Myka disappears, then you have James who's sitting over on TikTok, acting completely unbothered, just being a complete douche in my opinion. It's just really gross. They are ones that took a second PPP loan. Another YouTuber that took a second loan is Love Meg. I've talked about her before on my channel. Her second loan size was $31,700. And it says, again, they retained 2 jobs, just like last time. So it's her and her husband. Those are the jobs that they retained. And how nice that they decided to take this loan and go to Disney World. How nice. You know, that to me is not a business owner who is struggling. That is an influencer who is taking the money because it is offered. And since they have an LLC, they decided to step up to the plate again and take advantage. There are just basically any influencer that took the first round of loans most likely has taken the second round as well. Laura Lee is another one. She took a second loan for $66,482. Here's another one. I didn't even find this one initially. He has not taken a second one, but Manny took one. His was $76,190. It doesn't say he took a second one, but first one was big enough, you know. That's crazy. You know, Jeffree Star's loan size, it says ongoing loan. I don't know exactly what that means, but I guess that means that it hasn't been fully repaid or forgiven. You know, his loan size, $413,000. That is crazy to me. Anyway, so I realize many of the ones that took the first loan are most likely going to take the second one as well because they feel like they're entitled to it. Many of them, let's be honest. As far as Love Meg goes, the audacity to take the second loan and then automatically just pick up and go to Disney, you know, at this point, I realize things are getting back to normal. They're much different than they were 4 or 3 months ago, even. So things are starting to get back to normal. So I'm not even so much focused on the fact that she, you know, is at Disney anymore, but it's just the audacity to take this money and then go on a vacation that a lot of families will never be able to afford to take their kids to Disney. And she goes like, you know, she goes to Disney like I go to Starbucks. It's crazy to me. It's just the entitlement, it's the greed, it's the time and time again, the pattern of just feeling like things are owed to you. And if they're there, that means that you take advantage of them. So those are my thoughts as far as the second round of PPP loans that family vloggers are taking advantage of. I expect nothing more from any of these people. But when it comes to Myka and James, I do find that piece interesting because I can only imagine what the finances look like at that household right now. I can only imagine, truly, you guys. Like, going from Myka and James both having successful channels, having sponsorships, brand deals, all of the things, and it just stopping, but your bills still being there. I can only imagine, but this is what happens when you're a shit individual and you decide to do the things that Myka and James decided to do. And as a side note, I totally think that James is getting off kind of very easy in this situation. I think that he should be held to the same accountability factor as Myka. And some people might agree, some might not, but they as a married couple and as a, you know, pair of parents made the decision together, whether it was more on one than the other. They were both in the same household during this entire time, and they both profited off of this little guy that they decided to rehome. So I think that they should both be held to the same set of standards. That's just my opinion. So that's my thoughts on this. For now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.